you're not broker agnostic anymore, Rocket. You're a brokerage. You're trying to be a brokerage. And so your referral business, I don't think they're worried about it apparently, but that's out the window. This is Byron Lazine and Nicole White, and you are tuned into episode 357 of The Real Word.
Word is up.
Nicole, just another prediction.
I know.
Check.
I hate days like today.
Next to my name.
It's like the word. It's like the word. It pains me.
Sometimes you got to make these predictions 3 years out. Hey, Redfin's going to get bought. It's going to happen. Listen, there was other people that had this prediction. It wasn't that unobvious. It was very obvious. I mean, you
No,
see it
but
coming a mile away.
you're right. You were right. Is that what you want to hear?
That's what I was hoping to hear.
Yeah, you're right. Oh my gosh.
As a humble man that I am, I was hoping
you are the humblest
you might mention that. Thank you, Nicole. I had to really lead you to the water there. So we're going to do a full breakdown on the Rocket acquisition of Redfin for $1.75 billion. Redfin, of course, at their highest peak for market cap was once valued at over 10 billion. So quite the difference there.
Rocket must have some cash.
It was a full stock acquisition.
I've been hearing ads on the news, I see their TV ads. I mean, they're throwing out money.
Yeah, no doubt. It was a full stock acquisition. So, Redfin didn't get cash in the deal. They got Rocket stock. Probably a good thing for them because their stock hasn't, performed all that well over the years. And so they're getting Rocket stock of 1.75 billion. This won't close till I think Q3, somewhere in the second half of the year. Obviously investors believe it's going to close. The Redfin stock went up 70% in the first day after the news. And we'll get into all those details. We may also get into the NAR CEO, Nicole, right, meeting with House Speaker Mike Johnson and other congressional leaders and what they discussed. And is that going to benefit ultimately the housing market and you? But right. All right. If you're late to the party, you probably heard the news. We're going to give you our insights and what the future might hold and how this is going to impact your local lending partners potentially. So Rocket Company's acquiring Redfin at the $1.75 billion. It's an all stock deal as mentioned. So Redfin getting $1.75 billion in stock is to merge the home search, site that Redfin has, the portal with the mortgage services, into a seamless digital experience. Redfin's going to continue to operate under its own brand, so not changing the brand. Quickly, Nicole, Are you for that? Would you keep it Redfin?
No, I wouldn't.
You would change it to just Rocket?
Well,
or would you go? I've seen this meme floating out there. Would you go to Red Rocket? I mean, what?
Rent?
Red Rocket. People.
Red Rocket.
You can find a tweet or a meme about that.
That sounds awful. I mean, maybe my head is in the gutter, but I don't want any Red Rocket.
That's what they're saying, not me. I wouldn't.
No
I
way.
wouldn't go with that branding. So you would get rid of the Redfin name after 20 plus years. You would dismantle the name.
Yes.
And you would just have everything go to rocket.com. You would just basically.
Well, I mean, I think that Rocket is going to be essentially generating all of these leads, right?
I have it the other way around. Redfin's going to be generating leads now for Rocket.
Well, but I think Rocket is generating leads too that they could filter over to Redfin. I mean,
but why would you filter a lead over to Red? Help me understand what you're saying.
Well, if it comes in through Rocket? Right? Hey, I'm looking for a mortgage.
Yeah, there'll be some both ways, but I think that the acquisition is more for the leads that Redfin generates for the mortgage side, into the mortgage side. That is,
I guess. I mean, obviously Rocket is generating leads somewhere. I mean, if they're able to be successful and then acquire Redfin. I don't think that they're just like, "Hey, we're drowning and we need Redfin's help."
No, not at all. Rocket, to your point
I think
earlier.
they're trying to just double end a deal here, and I think I don't know, maybe Redfin is doing better than I thought. I just think that Rocket is certainly generating business on as a standalone that, now it can.
Thank you for checking out today's pod. I'm going to get you right back. To get the most out of what we do at BAM, join our community BAMX. We just moved over to the #1 community and education platform, School. Get access at school.com/BAMX, school.com/BAMX. Now back to the pod. No, let me clear. Yeah, I'll help clear some things up for you and
Okay.
for the listeners. Redfin is not doing well. That's why they had to take this deal at
Correct.
1.75 billion when they have had a peak market cap at 10 billion. They were struggling. They were swimming in the low end of the pool and they had floaties on their arms. So they had to take the deal.
Yeah.
Rocket is not struggling. They were previously the #1 lender, mortgage originator in the country by total dollar volume. They're now #2. UWM, United Wholesale Mortgage, has taken the top spot. So you say, hey, Rocket's huge. Yeah, they're huge. I mean, Rocket Mortgage and their owner owns stadiums in this country. They
Yeah.
own teams. So does UWM owner, by the way. So the top two, they're so far ahead of the rest. Like Loan Depot's in the top 10 at 20 billion versus Rocket's 76 billion. Loan Depot has their name on a stadium. Rocket owns stadiums. there's a big difference between these companies. But Rocket wants to close the gap between them and United Wholesale Mortgage. So $76 million. United Wholesale Mortgage, $102 billion. United Wholesale Mortgage does, Rocket has kind of that same offense to agents in the industry that Redfin does. Like, oh, you get a Rocket deal, there's a call center, is this, I don't know the lender, is this deal going to close? There's all these concerns and friction points that agents have with using this, Detroit call center type of service that is Rocket. That's been.
Do you have a negative? I've never had a bad dealing with Rocket. Have you?
I personally got to say that I haven't had a negative dealing with
Yeah.
Rocket. We'll
Yeah.
get
But
into
you've
what we
heard enough that
prefer,
there is. I
like
haven't. I just feel
local.
like they call me all the time.
Well, I guess I would say I haven't had that much experience, obviously, in production
Yeah.
on the buy side in some years.
No, I
But
mean, even as the listing agent, if a buyer is using Rocket, they're calling the listing
yeah,
agent quite regularly with updates.
even as a listing agent, I guess the one friction point that I have experienced is a lot of the people are playing telephone within the company. So you'll get Jimmy that calls for an update, and then
Yeah.
Sally calls and she doesn't know that you just said the same. I just told Jimmy this.
Yeah. So
Oh,
it's
well, I don't
frustrating.
see it in the notes. Oh,
Yeah.
so you guys basically keep up your CRM as if you were an agent. Like you're not
Right.
keeping a good CRM. Anyways, but wholesale. So, but would you agree with me? The stain on Rocket in the agent community is there. There's not this like, it's like a Zillow type of feeling.
Of course.
Okay. So you agree with that. Do
Yes.
you hear any agents ever talking, oh, I don't want to use United Wholesale Mortgage?
No.
No, because
I don't know that any I honestly, I've never even come into contact with them before.
no, you have. One of our lender partners is United Wholesale Mortgage, but they're all
Broker?
local brands,
Okay.
so United Wholesale Mortgage has a different model, right? They are, supplying all of these local brands. A lot of people listening to this pod right now, their local lender might be called, Illinois mortgage company. I'm just throwing a fake name out there, whatever. And they may not even realize, oh, that is a United Wholesale lender. They're #1 in the country, over $102 billion. That was how they were ranked back in 23. We don't have 24s yet, but by total dollar loan value, they're #1. And so, but because they have all of these local brands that they support across the country, there's no negative connotation. So there's a big difference between United Wholesale and obviously
Rocket.
Rocket. All right.
Yeah.
So here's what Rocket Company says about the acquisition. CEO from Rocket says Rocket and Redfin have a unified vision of a better way to buy and sell homes. So Rocket and Redfin now have a unified vision that there is a better way to buy and sell homes. Together, we will improve the experience by connecting um, uh, these traditional steps of the search and financing process with leading technology that removes friction, reduces costs, and increases value to American homebuyers. I'll caution the CEO from Rocket on, leaning too far into like, reducing costs,
Right.
that got Redfin nowhere over the last 20 plus years. It got you to buy them at a discount. They've built an incredible portal, number 3 in terms of traffic in the portal game. So you have an asset now in the portal and the consumer web traffic. But the discount model that they have championed now for 20 plus years was a failure, or they wouldn't have sold to you for 1.75 billion. So I would just be a little bit careful with that, like the technology, like streamlining process, all of that. There's points there. Glenn Kelman, CEO for Redfin, he's staying on, by the way. Redfin is going to live as a separate brand, which I do think is the right move. I think it'd be very hard to just get rid of that brand. But says Rocket and Redfin's approaches to lending and brokerage service have always been two halves of one vision to make the whole home buying process magical. I love Glenn's quotes here. We want a customer to be able to check her phone to find out what she can afford, see what homes are just right for her, schedule a tour with a local expert Redfin agent, and get it pre-qualified for a loan all in a matter of minutes. So what is he describing? The same thing that Zillow has described now for years, the Zillow Super App, seamless end-to-end all-in-one app experience. That's what he's describing there. And he's telling you we're keeping the Redfin agents. There's 2,200 Redfin agents, 2,200. Hey, we're keeping them. They're going to be an important part of this process. That I think is a big mistake. I'll get to that shortly.
Well, I mean, if you can find one.
The West Coast people know Redfin agents for sure. Obviously, in our market, there's none, but yeah, you can find them. People work with Redfin agents. Let us know in the comments if you work with one or if you are a Redfin agent. Glenn says him and the Rocket CEO see how much better real estate could be when AI guides customers, not just through that first step in their search, but all the way home. Let me read that to you again. So Varun, who's the Rocket CEO, and I, Glenn Kelman, see how much better real estate could be when AI guides customers, not just through that first step in their search, but all the way home through the sale, the loan, and then a lifetime of accumulating equity and wealth. Glenn Kelman has always, hates a strong word, but he has always devalued the real estate agent, the real estate professional. He's devalued the real estate professional by telling the market, by telling CNBC, by telling anybody who would quote and listen that Americans want a discount brokerage. Americans want a discounted service. Americans don't want to pay for this service. Over 20 plus years, he's been proven historically wrong on that bet. He just sold for less than what they IPO'd at. So he's been historically wrong on that bet. He's proven over the years to not be someone who champions what agents do. And now he's saying shortly, as a released quote on this acquisition, that he believes AI guides customers, not just through the first step, but all the way home. Now, I would say there's a lot of people that disagree with this. Gary Vaynerchuk would be one of them. Haley, if you want to pull up that Gary V, we put it on BAM's Instagram. Pull up that Gary V clip about AI taking the place of agents. Let's play that. I think that would be if you've missed this, It was on Now Bam's Instagram. I don't know if you caught this, Nicole, but let's take a look at this clip.
Don't be scared of AI, like, especially if you're a realtor, like, robots are not showing up at houses next year. If you were a graphic designer who has no ideas, you should be worried about AI. But if you're a real estate agent, it's like, come on. Like, fucking Megan Fox is not showing up at a listing and selling the house like that movie showed anytime soon. We're a little ways away from that. So let's calm it the fuck down. Let's stop always using fear. What this 48-year-old young woman needs to do is stop using fear as her reaction to new things. When I see new I go on the offense. I mean, by the way, AI could disrupt advertising way quicker than it's gonna disrupt real estate home sales. So I think for everyone here, it's about fear or optimism. And I think too many people default into fear on everything they hear. So I think the answer to her is to quit it. Stop being scared.
So since we're doing a little scoreboard watching here at the beginning of this show on predictions that were historically right, Gary Vee's been historically right on a lot of stuff. A lot of agents got mad at him when he said, the game is over. Zillow has already won. And a lot of agents just have this negative reaction to Zillow, so they got upset with those comments. But he was right then, and he still remains right now. Like, Zillow's already won. Nobody's using your IDX feed to search for their homes exclusively. They're searching on Zillow, and obviously Redfin has a piece of that pie too, much smaller than Zillow. Zillow is the Google of real estate. He was right about that comment, and I believe he's right about this one. I mean, he put his own business in front of real estate. He's like, advertising, the business he's in, is more disruptable by AI right now than the real estate sales business.
Yeah.
So I don't think this AI comment from Glenn has always been a big thinker, Glenn Kelman, on the way he thought about Redfin. He built an unbelievable portal, but he says things sometimes that just are not anywhere close to the near-term future. Obviously, this deal isn't even closed. It doesn't even close till the end of this year, but they're so far away from that. Zillow, I think, would even admit that the super app experience, which they think is almost there, it's still a long ways away from really being driven by AI. I think Glenn is saying this because they've only got 2,200 agents. That's not enough. If they're really going to generate a ton of leads, other agents are going to have to pick up these leads. Okay. And right now, here's what they have. They have 62 monthly visitors. This is the value of Redfin. 62 monthly visitors, 3 million buy and sell contacts. Okay. Now I'm sorry. This is the combination. I'm sorry. Redfin has 50 million unique monthly visitors. Rocket has 12. Okay. So, Redfin 50 million, Rocket 12. Redfin 1 million buy sell contacts. Rocket 2 million purchase contacts. So Rocket, I think to your point earlier, Nicole, Rocket is producing a lot of leads on only 12 million monthly visitors. They're producing 12 million contacts. Redfin 50 million monthly visitors, 1 million buy sell contacts. So they're both producing a ton of leads. That's 3 million total. We'll put this chart up so people can view it. And then you've got 2,200 lead agents, and then there's 5,000 partner agents. So roughly 7,500 agents between partner agents and lead agents. And then you've got 3,000 loan officers, 5,000 partner agents. So Rocket has partner agents too. I wonder if those 5,000 are the same. Not sure on that, but they have a combined funnel that sees 1 in 6 purchase mortgage originations, $200 billion addressable purchase originations per year. So there's a lot of upside on this deal.
Yeah.
Redfin's built a great portal.
Yeah, I'm wondering here, because again, I'm going back to like the reduced costs and then the amount of agents that they have. I'm kind of leaning towards thinking that they're probably, if you do use a Redfin agent through Rocket, there'll be some sort of reduced cost on that end. Maybe
they're
like
going to, but this is
wiring fee, or like who the hell knows? Like a processing fee might be removed. So.
And this reduced fee is historically why you have, a particular experience,
Yeah,
right? Well,
of
working
course.
with that. I mean, you can argue economy of scales if you can get I think the really entrepreneurial agents, want to offer a different experience, right? And so
Yeah.
this is one experience, um, and historically, it hasn't, this discount model has not been something that
Worked.
customers have clamored for, and it hasn't been something that's made Redfin very successful. What kept Redfin's value up to 1.75 billion has been the portal and that web traffic. Now, what I would do would be I'd get rid of the 2,000 plus agents. And I'm for agents, okay, obviously. But if you're trying, what they're saying, if what they're saying is true, what they're trying to be is the super app like Zillow. If you're trying to be Zillow, and Zillow's trying to work on getting their mortgage up, right? So interesting here. Maybe Zillow goes out and buys a loan. Who knows? Maybe they make one of those type of acquisitions in the future to kind of even the playing field. Wouldn't be shocked to see something like that.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to be the super app, and that's what you said here on release of this news, then Zillow's already figured out the model. It isn't having agents working for you. It's taking 40% without managing them. Agents, our most profitable client is someone we've already worked with, a lifetime client. How do we get more of those? We stay in front of them with value. Delivering cupcakes and drop-bys, that's cute, but continuing to remind those we've worked with in the past how much we're still in the game and how much we're separating ourselves from everybody else is what it's all about. That's where Reminder Media comes in. Branded, digital, and physical magazines that you can deliver to your clients, and nobody else is doing this. I love the product because you can tell a longer story than a postcard. Just sold or just listed is boring. It goes from here to the trash can. A magazine with the impact you're making on the community, what you're doing to separate yourself from everybody else, and the knowledge you have about the local market, that's something somebody might read, leave on the coffee table, pass it to a friend who's thinking about buying or selling. It's something nobody's doing, and it's a way to stay in front of those that you care about and want to continue to work with for a lifetime. Try Reminder Media and get a BAM sample with the link down below. Try Reminder Media today. You won't regret it.
Well, maybe on the partners, that's where they're getting that. If you're a Redfin, maybe the agent is
Yeah.
getting the direct lead, but if you're an affiliate, maybe there
Part,
is.
Partnering with, now here's why this is the better plan. Partnering with the best agents across the country, incentivizing them, the best teams and the best agents, is the best model that works. Zillow's proven that. It's why Zillow is capturing the majority of this business in the portal war. They're capturing the majority of, they have sticky leads, obviously, but they're capturing more of the share of transactions. Okay, but they partner with the best agents. Here's the other thing it does. If you decide, hey, we're going to now get rid of the agents and we're going to just partner with the best agents across the country, and some of those agents might be, the Redfin agents that, go and pick up another brokerage. You're also now broker agnostic, like UWM, broker agnostic. That's who you're chasing. You're not broker agnostic anymore, Rocket. You're a brokerage. You're trying to be a brokerage. And so your referral business, I don't think they're worried about it, apparently, but that's out the window. There's not going to be local agents that are like, I want to refer and work with Rocket. There's going to be more agents, trying to get second and third opinions to their buyers when they tell them they're with Rocket, because you're a competing brokerage. So I think that you'd actually be able to open up your TAM. You'd open up your opportunities with agents by partnering with all agents than hanging on to 2,000 of them. That would be the direction that I would go. I would think about it differently. I would keep the brand as they are, because it's just hard to now all of a sudden get consumers that are used to Redfin after 20 years to go to just Rocket and think Rocket, versus Redfin. But I would remove the agents, and I would, if you want to be Zillow, which is what you're saying you want to be, super app, I would play the game and do it the way where it keeps you broker agnostic instead of being a brokerage. I think that's a hard leap for a mortgage company, Rocket, now to make. It's last opinion on this, Nicole. Is it right for the consumer to have an all-in-one seamless experience that is, kind of national, all digital rather? Or is it better for consumers to have a local expert experience, or do both make sense?
I think both make sense, right? I mean, isn't that what we're talking about? I mean, that's why there was a whole shakeup here in the business, is to give the consumer options.
Yeah.
I think some people think that they want to have, a non-person experience, and I think some will probably go the AI route because they don't want to have to deal. But I think there's a lot of other people that just it's a very overwhelming process, of figuring out. I mean, even if you're new to the area, like a doctor or like a dentist or childcare, So I think both ways. I mean, you can't have one or the other. I mean, I think it makes sense to have both. Yeah.
Yeah, I think real estate experiences for customers, home shoppers, sellers is become more and more personalized
For
for
sure.
where they're at than less. And so there's nothing obviously wrong with options. And let us
Not
know
at
what you
all.
think. What do you think about the sale? What's your take on, what they're trying to build here? And let us know in the comments. All right. I just want to mention quickly, Nicole, I know you got to run. NAR CEO Nicole Wright met with House Speaker Mike Johnson and congressional leaders. I've certainly tried to hold NAR to account. Not that it's easy to hold NAR accountable. They kind of move at beluga speed, doing what they like, eating as many shrimp as they like, certainly drinking $300 bottles of wine. But that'd be a good place for a wine cellar down there
In a beluga whale?
down in the ocean. Maybe, I don't know. Probably not. But I'll give NAR a shout out. NAR's advocacy team met with all 72 new members of Congress, along with key committee chairs, Speaker Johnson, and their mission here is to meeting with the 119th Congress is to advocate something we've been saying. This is what you should do: is advocate.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
advocating for the
clearly they're hearing you, because I mean, they're taking full advantage of this photo op for sure.
a very nice photo op. Put the photos up. Let's give them their credit. They're advocating for the reintroduction of critical housing legislation, such as the More Homes on the Market Act. This would double the capital, gain relief for primary homeowners. I would go further with this act and say, if you want to get more homes on the market, give capital gain relief exemptions to investors. You have a second property, you have a vacation home, you have an investment property, like give a 2-year holiday, a 4-year holiday on that to get more properties on the market. But this was good. It didn't go through in 22. We'll see if it does here. The Revitalizing of Downtowns and Main Street Act, which would try to get conversion of commercial buildings into residential and mixed use. That's going to be a hard deal. Neighborhood Home Investment Act, which would attract private investment to build rehab owner occupied homes. I like that. And the Yes in My Backyard Act, which would encourage state and local governments to remove barriers to housing development and implement pro-growth policies. That is a waste of time, most likely, because the federal government's not going to have much of an impact on what the state and local municipalities decide on something like that. But the first one, the More Homes on the Market Act, this should be right up the administration's alley. Like, we want to do tax breaks. Okay, this is a tax break that can also help bring inventory onto the market. So originally this was proposed as taking the single, for a single, it would double the capital gain exclusion from 250,000 to 500,000 for single filers, and then from 500,000 to $1 million for married couples. Now, when you start getting numbers that big, you start thinking, well, I mean, this house is, if I'm going to like now sell my house because I'm getting $1 million of tax relief instead of like, okay, that means it's a pretty expensive house. Do it for the investors, those 2-3 unit buildings where, you know what, the investor is just sick of carrying the property, and get a new owner in there. And it's like, man, if I had the tax relief on this thing, I've been depreciating it for years. If I could get the tax relief, I would go ahead and sell it. That to me would be the way to do it. But I think this administration would be all for something that is a double win, tax break, and bringing, inventory, at least from what they've been saying, and bringing inventory onto the market to reduce costs in, home affordability. So that to me seems like the one to focus on and drive forward. They presented it in October of 2022 or around that time. Didn't happen. Obviously that was the past administration. So we'll see what happens this time, but NAR, way to go. Way to go, NAR.
Way to go.
Awesome.
They brought their cameras this time, so that's good too.
They actually, you know what? We usually don't see what they're doing, but when you're in DC with Congress, let's get the cameras out.
Let's go.
Yeah. How much should we pay for that photographer? All right. Way to go, NAR. Let's see if you can get it through the finish line, or if this was just an opportunity for good PR. I hope it is the latter, particularly in that first bill. All right, there's your real word. Let us know what you think. What do you think of the acquisition? What do you think of NAR taking steps to meet with Congress? Will they get anywhere with our politicians? Let us know in the comments. Subscribe to the channel to get all access to all real word pods each and every single week. Until next week, guys, keep it real.
See you guys.